Good evening, friends, and welcome. Sorry for the slight delay this evening, but welcome to our Friday evening devotional. You're very welcome. It's been the end of another week, and I hope you've had a good week. I'm sure it's been filled with all sorts of things, but one constant: we have the Lord in our lives, and He's faithful, and His word is established and never changes. So let's turn to the word of the Lord tonight. And a pivotal moment in Mark's gospel in many ways. Jesus is at the end of a series of debates with his opponents and interested people and those that come to question him. And this is the end of those questions, as you'll hear at the end of the passage tonight. We're in Mark chapter 12, verses 28 down to 34. So let me read that out. One of the teachers of religious law was standing there listening to the debate. He realized that Jesus had answered well, so he asked, "Of all the commandments, which is the most important?" Jesus replied, "The most important commandment is this: Listen, O Israel, the Lord our God is the one and only Lord. And you must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. The second is equally important. Love your neighbour as yourself. No other commandment is greater than these." The teacher of the law replied, "Well said, teacher. You have spoken the truth by saying that there's only one God and no other. And I know it's important to love him with all my heart and all my understanding and all my strength, and to love my neighbour as myself. This is more important than to offer all of the burnt offerings and sacrifices required in the law." Realizing how much the man understood, Jesus said to him, "You are not far from the kingdom of God." And after that, no one dared ask him any more questions. So this is the end of all the public debates. And it ends with something very simple, and yet not simple. Jesus distills, in responding to this man's question, distills all of the Torah, all of the law of the Old Testament, all of the ceremonial law. He brings it together in two commandments, and both of them are to love. Love God and love your neighbour. Simple to say, a lifetime to look and try to do. But the good news is it is simple, and Jesus here is beginning to show that the sacrificial system, the ceremonial laws in him will pass away, and it will become through him about loving God and loving our neighbour. And so really a simple thought tonight. How can you love God more? What do we read? To love God with all our heart, with all our understanding, and with all our strength. Which one of those do you think God might be talking to you about now? Your heart? That is not just your feelings, it's your kind of decision making and the seat of your personality, with all of who you are, with all of your understanding, your knowledge and experience of God, and with all your strength, all your talents and energy and abilities, all that you can do. Which one of those? And of course, one that Jesus says, quite surprisingly, is equally important, is to love our neighbour as ourselves. So there are many ways I could think how I could love my neighbour as myself, and many ways I think I could love God with strength, heart and understanding. But maybe think of one about your neighbours and one about God, and look to do it in the next 24 hours, 48 hours. Look to do it, because Jesus' teaching leads to obedience, which leads to discipleship. So have a great weekend, as you look to love God and love your neighbour, and look out for one another and look after one another. And as we've just read here, love one another, for that is here in Mark 12 the Lord's command. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.